Hey everybody, how's it going? My name's Eric. If you don't already know me, I'm an astrophysics student at the University of Calgary. I'm also a youth member with the Royal Astronomical Society of Canada, but I'll just call that RASC because that's a mouthful. And starting in May, I'm going to be the new volunteer coordinator for Team Astro, which is a volunteering initiative based out of the Rothney Astrophysical Observatory just south of Calgary. So yeah, lots of exciting stuff happening in the future. Today I'm just going to go for a bike ride and hopefully talk about International Dark Sky Week. So yeah, if you're interested in that, stay tuned. Always wear a helmet. If you're wondering why the overkill helmet, it's because I went over the front of my bike when I was little and smashed my chin and tooth. So ever since, I go with the motorcycle helmet. So yeah. Better safe than sorry. Like any scientist, I adjusted the experiment to avoid tragedy. No, it's really not. And the guy with the tool is all the way down there. The handlebar is not tight. Hello. This is why I wear this helmet. Always make sure that your handlebars are tight before you go and try to steer, because otherwise you'll almost kill yourself. All right, so International Dark Sky Week happens every year during the week of the new moon in April, which is nice because ironically a full moon is also a source of light pollution. It makes it hard to see anything dimmer, like your Messier objects, your NGC objects, your melon, it's like a French word. Anyway, all of those objects. So that's always nice. But yeah, the point is just to turn off as many excess lights as you have on to help us all enjoy the night sky. I believe the event was started in 2003 by a high school student in Midlothian, Virginia, by the name of Jennifer Barlow. So thank you, Jennifer. It's a fantastic event. But yeah, so all of this kind of begs the question, if we're trying to reduce light pollution, what exactly is light pollution? So before I get any further into this video, I probably should ask this video's question because it gets you guys commenting. So do you know what light pollution is, and do you know if it has any effects on humans, on animals, wildlife, on the planet in general? Tell me your thoughts down below in the comments. And I'll look at them sometime when I'm not riding a bike. So light pollution, of course, is the excess use of light, or the poor use of light. So sometimes you get street lamps on roads, and they shine light everywhere instead of just straight down where they need to. That's a source of light pollution. Another source of light pollution, of course, is your Christmas lights, but I'm not going to take too much of a dump on that because I like Christmas lights. Skyscrapers, of course, downtown, they leave their lights on all night. Automobile dealers, they leave their lights on all night, supposedly for security, but I'll get to that in a little bit. That might not be such a big deal. Alright, so yeah, like I said, light pollution, excess use of light, poor use of light. Here's some effects. So studies have found that increased light that you sense while you're sleeping, regardless of whether or not your eyes are open, reduces the production of melatonin in your body, which can contribute to sleep loss, grumpiness, stress, anxiety. Basically sounds like a bad case of, you know, the average university student, which none of us really need increases in stress, anxiety, or sleep loss, because life's kind of crazy enough as it is. Excess light coming through the window, especially if you live downtown. Those places are lit up 24/7, and there's not really enough blackout blinds to keep all that out. Another problem, of course, is wildlife. It can affect wildlife sleep patterns. It can affect wildlife hunting patterns. It can affect food sources for wildlife when they hunt, when they get their food. The other one, of course, is downtown, all the street lights and the lights in the high-rises. They look like lights coming through trees and forests that birds are used to flying through. And it confuses the birds and they fly into the windows and kill themselves. So not exactly a positive. Thank you. I just needed to refresh my memory. You'll probably want to get in front because I'm just following you. I'm going to take a detour. Off-roading, bro. Well, like any kind of pollution, is there a way that we can reduce light pollution? Of course, the answer is yes. Simplest one is just don't use excess light. The amount of people that I see at night when I take my telescope into my backyard, they got the patio lights on, they got the kitchen lights on, all this light's just emitting a ton of light coming out of their houses. They're not really using any of it, which not only is a, a problem for me, I'm trying to see the sky, it's also just a complete waste of energy. I mean, you're paying to turn on these lights, but you're not actually using the light that you're paying to make. The other one, of course, is just being smarter about how you use your light, right? Kind of touched on this earlier, but any type of lamp that directs light in all directions is just a waste of light. You may as well put a lampshade on that, or some sort of shade if it's a street lamp, and direct it down, right? The point of a street lamp, of course, is to light the street. Another thing you can do is energy efficient bulbs, right? Everything is color of light. So, kind of obvious today, on the side, we've got the nice blue sky. Kind of begs the question, why is the sky blue? The sky is blue because blue light, being higher energy, higher frequency, is a bit like a ping pong ball. So it hits atoms in the atmosphere. That kind of ping pong effect is why the sky is blue, as opposed to red light. It doesn't bounce off of stuff so well. So the red light all gets through, and the blue light bounces off the atmosphere. That's why the sky is blue. If it was the other way around, it looked like we were on Vulcan, right? Star Trek, planet where Spock's from. You have a red sky. So if you have warmer light, redder light, it won't bounce off as much stuff. Won't get so much extra light in my telescope, which completely cheeses me off, if I'm being honest. One of the main comments I get, one of the main comments I see in here is, oh yeah, we turn off all our lights, you can see through your telescope, but we'll get our houses broken into. So I guess if you want to learn more about that, you have to figure out why people break into houses. Thankfully, there's a bunch of studies on that. It's actually a great book called Burglars on the Job if you're interested. As a side note, it's a great resource if you're writing crime fiction or any sort of burglary style mystery. But basically, if you dive into the factors, the decision-making factors of why burglars pick their targets the way they do, light's not even a factor. They're looking for houses they're familiar with. There's a ton of ways you can get familiar with the place. You can stake the place out for weeks. Or better yet, it could just be the house of somebody you know. The amount of burglars who break into their friend's house, acquaintances' house, family members' houses, is staggering. It's nuts. Whether or not the house is lit has nothing to do with whether or not somebody breaks in. Now, of course, I get where the comment comes from. A lit house is obviously occupied, right? So, well, you'd think. So, if you have an unoccupied house, that's obviously a better target. But that's not how burglars figure out whether a house is occupied. They've either staked the place out in advance and they know your schedule, or better yet, you're one of their friends. So they just know if you're on vacation. They know when you went to Banff. They know when you went to Mexico or Hawaii. That's how they figure out if you're home. The other comment I hear, which this just takes the cake. I'm very amused by this one. I couldn't care less. That's something I hear. And there's a number of reasons why this argument just won't pan out. But a basic example here is the argument can be used against you. Let's think about it this way. You're a clinical physician and I'm an astrophysicist. $50,000 research grant money comes up and we both want it. So you come to me and you give me all the reasons why your research is important. And at the end of your very objective and well-sourced presentation, I say, I couldn't care less. What kind of comment is that? How do you expect anybody to collaborate with you if you don't have empathy for their perspective? I couldn't care less. What kind of argument is that? Another variation of that same argument might just be, that's fine, you're an astrophysicist, you want us to turn all our lights off. I'm not an astrophysicist, it doesn't really affect me. And if that's what you're thinking, refer to the beginning of this video. Because sleep deprivation, increased stress and anxiety, decreased melatonin production, that affects us all, bruh. That's affecting business people, that's affecting the lawyers, that's affecting the oil and gas industry, that's affecting everyone. It affects all of our productivity. So actually it does affect everyone. There's plenty of studies to back that up, but unfortunately a lot of people form their opinions and make decisions not based on studies, not based on data, just based on what makes sense to them, what somebody else they know and trust has said. Wrap things up. So, light pollution, excess use of light, right? Or poor use of light. Light not directed down, light on when it doesn't need to be on. Affects everything from wildlife to us via our melatonin production. We can prevent it just by being smarter about how we use light. We can turn off light when we don't need it. We can direct it down when it's, you know, not being directed down. Of course, it affects wildlife too. So if you don't care about that, well then I couldn't care less. See what I did there? That argument doesn't get you anywhere, bro. Oh yeah, one quick thing that I forgot to mention. You know the argument that I always hear all the time? Well, why don't we just turn our lights all off, right? Then we can drive around in the dark, crash into each other, hit cows, hit deer, hit each other, and that'll all be so much safer, right? That's not what we're saying at all. You obviously need to balance the correct amount of light to keep all of us safe with reducing light pollution at the same time. It's not an absolute argument. Don't push the argument to that side. That's not what any of us are saying. We obviously want to stay safe. We need streets lit. We need a certain amount of light to get around at night because we can't see infrared. We can only see visible light, and the sun only provides visible light, so we only get that during the daytime. Nobody's saying turn your lights off all day long, so that, or sorry, all night long, so that we're all bumping around into each other in the dark. That's not what anybody's saying. So again, if you're on that argument, don't push the argument to an absolute. We're looking for a much smarter solution than that. So that's pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed this video. It was a beautiful day to get out here. My hands are a little cold, but other than that, sun's shining, clear blue sky. Wish the sky had been this clear last night at the RAO. By the way, thank you to everyone who came out to the RAO, everyone who volunteered, from Calgary Rask, Team Astro, everybody at the observatory itself. Thank you so much for coming out and asking all of your great questions. I love talking to everyone and learning so much about a bunch of stuff that I don't even know, because I'm still learning too. I'm still a student. So thank you so much for that. Again, the question for this video, did you know about light pollution before this video? Did you know of any of its effects? Has this video changed your opinion? Or did you already know all this stuff? Feel free to comment down below. Don't forget to like if you enjoyed the video, subscribe, and yeah, I'll see you in the next video. No, it's really not. The handlebar is not tight.